actually gives you higher quality audio and video than playing through YouTube itself. And as you can see right here, that is that same geometry of these, what they call the Bastion fort or the battery star fort here. And this is a buried one, and that we're going to show here that you find one about every mile along this wall for thousands of kilometers across the Ukraine and Siberia, the former Tartaria, and that these are the same basic battery geometries and fundamental fractal geometry that Dutchsinse has been pointing out to us over and over again throughout this. And here's a bigger wall. We dubbed it the Great Wall of Tartaria because it's through the actual areas of the maps, Siberia, that used to be called Tartaria, and that there's literally no history for these. And you have the foundation of America, the
there's
oh wow, said her name earlier, in New York,
the Statue of Liberty.
Statue of Liberty was built off the base of one of these, and then there's like a wall thousands of kilometers long of buried ones of these with no history across the current flashpoint of Crimea off the Dnieper River and through Siberia, aka Tartaria.
And thank you to everyone who has donated today. Thank you.
I recently found one up north, actually, that we should go over later. After the break, of course.
All righty.
I just posted into the chat room for anybody who wants to see it. World War II drones and B-17 bomber remote control airplanes that I found, that they flew through the nuclear tests out at the Bikini Atoll, and that they had full-on drone B-17 bombers in World War II with no people on them. And I just posted the article. You can go see it. They got pictures of it all flying around and everything. They had fully remote controlled drone B-17 bombers in World War II.
We've got a bot in one of the chats. I don't know whose it is. Can mods get rid of that, please? Some sex Tinder chat thing.
We're getting attacked by the freaking porn bots.
I think it's not my channel.
Sexy time, guys. Paul was here. Paul was here, and look what happens, man. I'm telling you, the guy brings it out. Like everybody sweats.
My crypto alchemist. Did they attack it all at once? Interesting. That's why I literally make everybody in my live chats moderators, because the porn bots were so bad for a while that they're relentless. So you make everybody mod, they can't get out there. And it's ridiculous because once you start making a bunch of people moderators, then they will delete anybody else that they have a disagreeing volume.
Indeed. All right, press play. I'll be back.
And if we come back,
I'll be right back too. I guess I'm going to have a quick break as well.
Me as well.
We'll get into this wall as well.
Yeah, so this is what we dubbed the Great Wall of Tartaria, and that we'll be getting Olaf, the Sverker channel, Olaf, to come on with us to do a full presentation of where it begins in the Black Sea, across all of the Ukraine, and then across all of Siberia into the Russian Arctic Ocean. And this is just for the middle of Ukraine.
And you'll see, I mean, this one, you know, is very, very hard to sort of point out, but there are, you can see sort of a bit of a star point there and down here. And that's been marked because Olaf, he's got a YouTube channel, Olaf the Sverker. He was getting the old maps of this area and overlaying them on Google Earth. And then, you know, the old maps would show where these stars were. And then he would, you know, overlay the map, and he'd find in a lot of circumstances these old stars. Because, I mean, you know, otherwise, imagine just randomly trying to search for this stuff. Because look, here's another one, right? Look at that imprint in the ground. I'll just wait for it to buffer a bit, but you can still see this star. And it looks like there was a bit here they couldn't get rid of. It's still sticking out the ground. But again, they've just put a farm over the top of it. you know, and there's all these other, you know, interesting, you know, circles and bits and pieces in the ground as well. And of course, always, you know, next to waterways and things.
Everybody can hear the
some of
good,
them
right?
do have like fortress names and histories, but as we go through and we've discovered, and Olaf has discovered, especially as it gets into Russia on the other side of Ukraine, that there's not even official histories for lots of these forts along this wall.
You can see this one was obviously the foundations were a bit too big and a bit too high, so they've just gone around it. But you can see, we can see a bit more on this one. We can see this point below it, which is called a cavalier. Is that correct? I'm pretty sure it's a cavalier. And if they're attached to the fort, they're called bastions. You know, this is all obviously talk about when they're war. But another thing, you know, a lot of these forts, you know, the army and the armed forces, they call them batteries, right? But then, of course, all the troops come out and charge. So, you know, we think there's a lot hidden in the language as well, as far as what, you know, what the function of these things were. But if we come down here, we'll start to see this wall that just appears out of the landscape, and the same features. We get these, you know, we'll call them bastions, these, you know, pointy spear tips.
Also petals.
The same kind of stuff that we see here. Petal, yeah. Petals is probably better. That's what Olaf is calling them. You know, petals is much nicer, right? Much
and
less
they're the
violent.
exact same shape and wall as, for instance, the map that we showed of New York City, the Wall Street, that wall. This is the same identical infrastructure petal bastion wall that is Wall Street, yet it's the other side of the world, and no real official history of wall itself was, or when it was built.
Oh, did we just lose Bernie? Okay, so
I've got my camera off just to try to preserve bandwidth.
Oh, you keep cutting out a bit there. Okay, so we're just following this wall. Now, if Google would be nice, you'll see. So here, we get these pointy bits along this wall, and there's another one there. They seem to be pretty equidistant, and like Bernie was saying, these are the exact same features we see in all the star cities, and we saw in that picture of New York. On Wall Street was this exact same kind of wall, and we don't even know, you know, why they have these, you know, bastions, these pointy bits, but they're everywhere. They're equidistant along all these old structures. And this wall, and you can see how old it is. You know, there's literally just remnants of it left. You can still see it. There's another pointy bit, and there's a big one, which probably means there's a star close by. And it just keeps going, always close to water. And then up here, see, it starts again. There's another pointy bit. So again, like Bernie was saying, there's no narrative at all as to who built this. You know, and this thing is a massive, massive construction. Still going down here, you can see another pointy bit. Down here. Oh, and look, there we have another star fort. A star just sitting in the middle of nowhere, right? And again, they've had to go around this one rather than covering it up because the base is obviously too big. So you can see that there's a connection between these walls, these stars, and as I've been mentioning, they're always close to water. Now, you can kind of see the remnants of the water here. This place as well has been bombed. It's been carpet bombed. You can see, like, if we go down to places like, it's probably not the best one, but in some areas, it's literally just pitted with holes. But you can see all the markers for this wall. It just keeps going and going. And here's another star, right?
Just
but no narrative as to who built these stars. So it's like we've been saying, this is the same stuff that you can find in, you know, the Americas, in Africa, in Europe. You know, it's the same stuff. That's why we keep saying it's it's built by the same civilization, right? Like there's a bit of the wall there, you can see. It's just, and you know, we sort of spent, you know, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours doing this, but with more time, we're pretty sure that this would map right across, because when I pull out, the same stuff is up here. So no doubt this system goes, I mean, and no doubt it just spreads out and goes everywhere, I would think. But up here, you know, we see these same canals and these same, you know, StarForts and things up in, what's this? Is this the Baltic Sea?
Yeah, this is just off of the Baltic.
Be the Sea of Tartary, didn't it?
Right behind.
Oh, that's the Baltic there, yeah.
Yeah, is that either St. Petersburg? Yeah, behind St. Petersburg. But so this canal system through St. Petersburg actually goes through the rivers, connects to Moscow.
All right, I paused it there. I'm seeing your comments and requests. I will be posting all the links for Gerald's channel for this video and everybody else's. I'm just going to finally run to the washroom quickly as we wait for everyone else to get back. There's about 5 minutes left in this current video, and then we will take it to the next topic. Love you all, and enjoy the rest of this clip.
Then goes south all the way down to where we were going through the Black Sea and Azov Sea and the Dnieper system there. And right there, that's a prime example of
an old star.
Exactly, that entire coast. And it's,
yeah. And this is an interesting one. I think this is probably partly because of you know, water levels rising. It's this canal. It's right on the coast.
And surely some of the canals are newer developments and newer infrastructure, but it's that when there just has to be comparative research of bringing up all of the old maps, sourcing them, and you'll be shocked at how many times there's actually even more canals in the ancient older maps than even do exist today, and you end up finding dried up ones and everything. It's just mind-boggling each time we go in.
Yeah. I mean, clearly, you know, some of this is new, and some of, you know, they've done, you know, some retro work and that, but the old system itself is, you know, is definitely old world, because, you know, it's not complete. You know, it sort of goes along, and then you find some covered up bits, and then it just sort of pops out somewhere else. But they obviously, you know, are tying into it, you know, where they can use it. But I mean, so yeah, this is, look, if you look at this area, if Google let us, I mean, you can sort of see, it just looks like it's been decimated by something. Like the landscapes you see out here, they're just very strange. Not that Google's been very helpful. And there's these just like pitted with holes and stuff. Like down here, you see all these just sort of random kind of holes, and they're just sort of everywhere. So it looks like this whole place was literally bombed out. You know, look, I mean, look at this landscape. All these,
right, and it's
very strange.
Like Alaska and the Yukon as well, and then all of the Siberian coast. And they claim that it's from this glacial ice scarring. But when you go into some of these ancient maps that we'll go through at the end here of Tartaria in the northeastern Siberia, any former civilization, yet you'll see these castles and these cities all marked on these rivers and stuff. And then when you go through on Google Earth, it just looks like these massively blown out, bombed out former ruins and war zones.
It really does, and Google's not. Oh, hang on, let's have a look. But this kind of stuff, just these kind of random, you know, holes everywhere. It's just all over this region, but also these lines in the ground. I mean, that could be a road, but look at this. This looks like a big foundation of some kind of big building.